Draymond, Draymond, Draymond. You surprised? No one's surprised, right? I was gonna wait to hear from him or the team today, but a couple people hit me like, "Alk, we need the take. What do you know, what's going on?" And the reason why I didn't, I want more information. I want more information because a lot of this is going to be speculative, but that's kind of what we do, right? So let's start with the facts. Yesterday evening, it was reported there was an altercation between Jordan Poole and Draymond Green at practice. Now, the wording was funny, right? It was I believe they said aggressively struck, right? They had to be separated. And I saw a bunch of people on Twitter kind of trying to downplay it, like, look, teammates push and shove each other all the time, right? And it's like, if it was pushing, we would have never heard about it, right? If they shoved each other at practice, we would have never heard about it. Aggressively struck this morning has turned into Draymond threw a punch. First and foremost, Poole's not hurt, right? He was seen taking shots after practice, right? So it wasn't something that caused damage, right? Draymond, it seems as though used his mouthpiece in Chris Haynes, who he's close to with the media. Does he work for TNT still? Because he quickly released a statement saying Draymond was apologetic and apologized to the team after the incident. But this is something that had been brewing as teammates noticed Jordan Poole's attitude change during training camp. And I was like, all right, well, maybe, like Poole is rambunctious. He's set to get the bag, right? And all that. He's a very confidence, cocky. That's a fine line, right? And so I'm like, okay, maybe, right? And then Andre tweets this out because I want to read this verbatim. What we not going to do is talk crazy about my young fella JP. Great character kid. Miss me with all that other bullshit. Straight from the source, quote. And then he follows that tweet with, and it's family business with my bro Draymond Green too. So here's where I'm going to start to get speculative, right? Like I interpret that as like, nah, this is on Draymond. This is on Draymond. Like I interpret that as Andre saying there wasn't no attitude change, bro. And then when you say family business, that kind of means like, yo, we're going to work this out behind closed doors, as they should. You wish it never came out as a Warrior fan, honestly. I didn't want to talk about this. You know what I mean? But that's how I interpret that tweet was like, nah, Poole's been the same kid the whole time. Cocky, confident, and speaks his mind, right? He's kind of a quirky dude. That's how I read that, right? And so to me, what this gets back to is if Poole's really the same, then what has changed? It's probably Draymond's perspective. And the perspective has changed because of these contract extensions, right? Draymond has tried to say all the right things and act as a leader, and it's all good, prove myself right. But the reality of the situation is it sounds like Poole's going to get a deal here in October, and Draymond's going to have to wait. And so with that brewing inside of Draymond and biting his tongue, now all of a sudden I'm speculating that Poole's attitude, swagger, confidence, it's Draymond taking it differently. You know what I mean? And so we know who Dre is. He got physical, he threw something. But, now the other point that I bring up is how do they handle this behind closed doors? And you assume the players will work it out, but do they suspend Draymond? The other part of the news story was, well, the Warriors are considering disciplinary action towards Draymond Green. Now, if you remember, I think this all shoots us back to the KD incident, obviously, right? They suspended him for that. Then, when was it, last summer? Him and KD sat down with his podcast or whatever it was a year or so ago, and they just shit all over Kerr and Bob Myers for how they handled that situation, right? And so now you wonder how this situation's going to be handled. And I said it. Listen, man, it was funny. There was someone in my comments talking about, what you talking about? Draymond's going to be toxic, blah, 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 blah. Look, man, I had brought up this potential issue with these contract extensions. And I believe I used the analogy of like, look, if they're all your kids, you can't just give one and not the other, right? And we know Wiggs is cool, but between these two. And so, hey, again, speculating that that's the root of it, but that's the root of it, right? And as far as Draymond goes, look, man, I'll say it, fuck Draymond. He's annoying as hell. Like, he's unlikable. He's an asshole, but he's our asshole, right? He's like, I will forever respect and acknowledge Draymond for what he's meant to this dynasty, right? But it's like, we all have a family member, that you like, you love him, but you don't really like him. You know what I mean? And that's Draymond to Dub Nation. And so there's been so much positive around training camp and headed into the season trying to repeat. You could spin this and say, hey, it'll just make their bond stronger and they'll work it out. But yeah, man, I guess the question I propose is, does this put the brakes on possibly Poole's extension? I know that may sound silly, right? But if like you're looking at this big as a whole, as a social dynamic, as team chemistry, and Bob and Joe are like, all right, with the Tyler Hero deal, or like, we're going to just get it done. We're going to offer it to him. It's just going to keep getting higher, right? Is there not a conversation had of like, listen, what does this do if we give him 130 mil and tell Draymond play it out? After the animosity that clearly is already there. So, yeah, I'm waiting to hear more on it, and I'm sure that we won't hear much. You know what I mean? We're going to hear the PC answers, but I think the root of it is these contract extensions. And to me, what Andre said lets me know that I think it's Draymond and his feelings deep down inside, whether he knows it or not. And so, yeah, let's wait and hear how they handle this. I don't think they'll suspend him just because I think of how critical he was about how they handled it last time. But who knows? Who knows, man? Maybe they're going to trade his ass. I've been trying to trade him for like 4 years. But anyway, when do they play? Sunday? Do they got the Lakers? So yeah, all eyes will be on that relationship and their interactions. And I believe the deadline for the Poole extension is like halfway through October. They got another couple weeks, so we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.